Hello, everybody. Nobody. Oh, it's a squirrel. Whew. It's hot. Look at that last property at the top of Sierra Madre Canyon. That was the only house that burned up here. It's the last property. It's like the strangest place. There used to be a hippie bus parked back here. Like one of those ones with all, paint all over it. Different colors. Almost like the Partridge Family. And that was the only property that burned in this fire that just hit here. Was that top one there. It's really strange. Look, there's a property line here. That may not be a property line, but well, maybe there is another property that goes by. There's some type of structure here. Something's fenced off. What is that thing? It's like looks like a bridge right there. Is that just a fence? No, it is a bridge. Oh, water used to probably come, or it probably does come down when it rains. Probably comes right through here. And that bridge. So this is actually, because it is a ravine, duh. I think everything that hits here is gonna, they built it out of need. That'd be cool if there was a stream up here. Went down there. I think at one time there was. Or maybe that's just for when it rains. Yeah. And I've never been so pissed. For the simplest. Has anybody ever had UPS lose a delivery? Man, they lost the most important delivery. Only one I ever care about. It was my dental partial. And they fucking lost it. It took me 8 days to find out that they lost it. So everybody know this. When you track a package, they're not tracking the physical package. They're tracking the paper that went with it. They ripped off. The package, if they were gonna get that's called tracing. Tracking is actually just following that piece of paper where is, of where it's going. Like it sounds like tracking. But you would think you'd be tracking the actual piece of merchandise. But no, they don't. Because they told me it was on. They said like a week ago, it'll be on the truck tomorrow. She talked to the place. Now, see, that's the thing. She must have talked to the person that had the slip or whatever, had record of it being there, ready to be going out. But that doesn't do anything for the physical package. You need verification. So it took me 8 days for them to say they lost it. And when I heard that, I lost it. Dude. It's just unbelievable. How the fuck do you lose a package with a, you know, it's got the bar tracer on it that, but see, that's the thing, that they're not tracking that. They're fucking tracking the paper trail along with it, which to me is not doing it, because they were telling me it was on the way. Dude, the first thing that happened was just I could not fucking believe that the day I was supposed to get the package, I get an email that says that the package is awaiting address verification. And it was flashing. That shit was flashing. So I click on that. I'm like, okay. You know, looking for it, saying, well, where does it tell me the address that you have, right? So I get to that part. There's nothing to say, yeah, this is it, you got it right. Nothing. And the thing's still flashing. Like, I had to, it was gonna wait until I updated what it was asking for. It was gonna sit at the center or whatever. So I had to update the address with change address, which was the same address, because they don't show you the address and say, is this it? So when I change the address, then it's like a halt, and it like goes back to center or something or whatever for them to change the address. I don't know why you wouldn't just, when it was the same address, since you have computers and fast communication and everything, why you don't know that it was the same address that was on there. Dude. Now the boy, this is a funny story because it angers me so much. Here's the kicker. Friday, I was like, when the girl told me the day before, it'll be on the truck tomorrow. So Friday at 7, and I know they stopped running at 8. At 7, and I don't have it. I'm like, okay. So I called the 800, and I'm kind of pissed. The girl goes to track it, and she puts me on hold for over an hour. And I waited like 45 minutes, and I got my other phone and called the line to find out that they were closed. So the bitch put me on hold and went home for the long weekend. And I'll tell you why she did. I don't care what anybody thinks. It's because she was a black girl and I was a white man, and I was pissed off. And she didn't, and that was like, I know you didn't. And I'm not sure if she might have talked to somebody there and said, yo Jerome, toss that fucking package in the trash. Fuck this white motherfucker. And it can be that simple, you know. Because all white people are racist, so it's okay to hate them, no matter what color you are. You can do bad things to them. Wish bad things. This is not the year of the white. Unless you're like that brother Lorenzo Wright, you know, the black whites. If you're a literal white, it's fucked up too. The cops are even joining in. You know, in England, it's much worse. The cops will allow the Muslims, because England has been taken over by Muslims because of you know who moving them all around the world, and they did it. And that's what I always say on X, and I argue with these fucking demons. And you know, everybody wants to talk about how the Muslims are everywhere and they're gonna fucking kill all the Christians. Well, yeah, that may be true, but before they come and kill me, I'm gonna be screaming out who fucking brought them here. And everybody should feel that way, because it's time to go out and get some fucking heads, man. Because what's about to happen, and they'll trigger it with their false flags. What's got to happen is they're gonna spark that Muslim hate for Christianity. Somehow they'll do a false flag where white, apparently, you know, white people, they'll have some Antifa dudes do some shit to Muslims, some shit, and that'll spark it. And once you have a lot of Muslims in one space, that's the problem. See, that's why they brought them here. Everything, the world was fine with them all scattered out. You know, Muslims aren't bad people. I know a lot of good Muslims. But if you get anywhere that's just all Muslims, your women are going to get raped and shit. I'm sorry to say. And it's because of the culture. And I don't, you know, people won't like this, but it's the culture and the race of the people that adapt to that, that are drawn to that culture. Because it's mostly dark-skinned people and black people that are turning out to be Muslims. Not entirely, but, and you know, I mean, no offense, black guys, but the whole, you know, the Jews used the Holocaust to have a pity party. And then through all this, the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they've worked an anger campaign on the black Americans to hate white people for slavery. And it's really not, we didn't bring them here. We didn't kidnap and bring them here. The Jews did. And the Jews were just buying them because the African leaders over there were selling them. So it was the black selling the blacks out. But that's, you know, but we didn't bring them here. You know, the people I know that are, you know, what I consider Americans, like the, you know, the white American people, kind of like the originals from, I don't mean originals like in a Israel type of deal, not like that, but you know, that's what Americans, white American people. And I don't think back then or now we would have wanted to bring anybody here, because being white people, we're smart enough to know that if you bring them here, they're going to multiply, and then they're going to be a problem. And I think back then they knew it, just like we do now. But you have people that look white but aren't white that are doing the migration and angering off, you know. And that's the thing with trying to start a race war with blacks and whites. They've been doing that for so long. You know, Rodney King and all that stuff, that might not have been legitimate. Everything has to be questioned. The OJ thing has to be questioned. I heard the OJ thing was fake, and you know, Look at everybody involved in that OJ thing. Every single one of them is a Freemason. And OJ is a big, hardcore Freemason. And they love using his ass. That's why they fucking have him in all those movies, getting all fucked up, throwing out windows and all that shit. They love fucking with him. And that's what they did. They used his ass for that whole thing. Because, you know, what's that bitch's name? Megyn Kelly? Is that her name? Did you put her face next to fucking, Nicole Simpson? Put them next to each other and see what you think. I mean, maybe they're clones, but I mean, there damn well could have been. And if you think about it, well, or don't think about it, check. That bitch never, you can't find a trace of her before Nicole Brown Simpson. That is evidence. How the fuck did she just become this fucking news star? You know, she just, bam, she was there. I'm telling you, that shit was fake. Megyn Kelly's Nicole Brown Simpson, they gave her a deal. They're like, hey, we're going to kill this image of you, but we're going to create a one you want. And she's like, oh, I want to be like a news anchor person, you know. So I can like read the news and stuff. Yep, that seems like it makes more sense. I mean, almost anything you look at now, the big things that happen, and most of them are bullshit, or they're just at least organized and, you know, like the Parkland shooting, Sandy Hook. There's so many of them. There was one not too long, a while back, maybe a year ago or so, where that white guy went into the store and was shooting everybody, just like, you know, and filming it, supposedly. And then remember, he didn't kill that one cashier because he was white, but whatever. But if you watch that video, that, you know, that one, I know what they did there. They filmed, they told the people that they were going to be in some type of, you know, FEMA drill video or some shit. And they told them to get on the ground. To no matter what, get on the ground. Because when the dude shot the girl in front, runs into the store, the people that were standing at the door hit the ground. Dude, you're normal. You will not be able to help but do one thing when a gun is shot, and that is turn and run as far from it as you can. And your instincts are going to make you do that. And if they don't, somebody told you not to do that. And those people laid down at the door, and the guy ran by him and shot him. And you can see it was an air gun when he shot. And he shot a couple people that were laying down on the ground. Everybody in the store would have ran out the back door as soon as they heard gunshots. Your instincts will never fail. It's like when, you know, the Kennedy got shot in that car. You look at the video, the wife, or tranny or whatever, of the Kennedy, Miss Kennedy or whatever her name is, Jacqueline Kennedy or whatever, she turns and jumps out, climbs over the trunk of the car, because, you know, it was a convertible, and they like stopped and stuff. It was because the person in the front seat turned around and shot Kennedy. And when she saw that, your instincts, all she thought was, get out of the car, even if it's moving. Out of the back of the car. As far, she went the opposite way of where the bullets was. You know, she probably didn't know if they're going to shoot her, but that is instinct. And you can't And if you have a whole bunch of people that all do the same thing, and it's the opposite of what your natural instinct would be, you have a false flag. Or what you really have is a bunch of people that thought they were going to do a drill, and then they sent the shooter thing in to add a surprise element. But I mean, maybe they didn't even think about when they told everybody to hit the ground, obviously. And nobody's going to hit the ground when the guy's running at you with a gun. I'm sorry. People do stupid shit, but they follow their instincts. And guns make you turn around and go the opposite way. So, and that was like in Buffalo or something, remember? Supposed to be a white supremacist. He had one of those things where when you tell everybody what you're going to do. All the fake ones that have that. But that one, so you got Sandy Hook, that one. Parkland was a joke. And that fucking little bastard, what's that little fucking thimble head? He's always on TV now. He's like an anti-gun dude. Dude, he had an anti-gun meeting at that school the morning of that thing. And he supposedly, he stayed in a closet and survived. That shit was that was faker than shit. And they're doing them all for, like the last one last week at the Catholic school. That one was fake. Fuck, when you see the kids, they're on the news talking, they were total blow-its. They were overacting, and they had them over. Wardrobe did too much with because there's this black kid, or like Puerto Rican or something, and he was so well spoken and so profound, and so well rehearsed. What a great representative for brown people. It was totally, you could tell they were actors. Almost everything we see that the people that got, the 2 Jews that got killed, was it in Washington D.C.? That one was too. I mean, you never know which ones were actually where people get killed. I don't look for that anymore. I just look for things that scream out fake, because you're never going to see dead bodies when it's fake, of course, but they never show you anyway. No autopsy pictures, anything. No, I mean, not crime scene photos. Never. It's like, let's see, it's been a long time since Parkland and all that. Release the fucking crime scene photos. We're adults. And you can't tell me there aren't any. When they get there and there's dead bodies, you're going to picture everything before anybody touches anything. Maybe it's like all the moon footage. Oh, we taped over that shit. We didn't need to save it. We went. Fuck. I hope I don't run any fucking bears today. Oh man, some water would be fucking nice. Whew. I'm picking up a lot of followers on the X, old Twitter. I'm telling you, it's weird. I lose like a bunch at a time. And I noticed too, as of recently, all these trolls that come after me, almost every one of them has blocked me, where I can't respond to anything they say. And I think I know why. It's because I'm winning. Winning. Like fucking Charlie Sheen. No, it's because they must have decided altogether, quiet him. If you keep arguing with him, he's looking good. He's shining. He's, you know, he's gaining more followers. He's gaining traction. We got to cut him off from his power source, and that is the fight that they put up all the time. You know, because I beat them. It's so easy. They're defending lies. They're liars that defend lies. That's the easiest shit to go against. If you're going with the truth, it's easy. Just be straight up. A lot of the argument is with Shavagoi, which are, you know, the whites that want to say Israel are the chosen people, and we have to praise them and all this bullshit. And that story there is a fucking lie, dude. That's the fucking Schofield Bible runoff that they did around 1900, right when Zionism got going. And Schofield Bible came out, and then it's like, yeah, just this you're supposed to have this admiration for Jews. And so I guess that means tolerate bullshit. Go along with their lies. You know. No, actually, there were a couple, I think there were dudes that I was arguing with. And one of them said, you know, the more you say that, the clearer it's starting to get to me that it's the truth. And we were just arguing. So I returned that and I said, dude, if you're being serious, that means your mind is starting to open. And once you do that, you're going to be amazed when you fucking find out the lies attached to lies. You know, people like that, I would always say need the flat earth, but I don't hit people with that because it's too much for people. But it should be the starting point. But when they're not, you know, when they're realizing who the demons are, who the enemy is, and then you hit them with the biggest fucking quagmire of them all, you might lose them. And it's funny because I didn't, you know, I told him, I was cool to him, of course, because he was actually, that's very genuine for people to do that. Most people just will argue non-stop because their instinct is to try to argue until they're right. But when they do, and then they, you know, they're actually reading the shit you're sending them, and then they say, fuck, dude, you're starting to fucking sound like the truth. You gotta understand that. I mean, Everybody's got to get there somehow. And I just need them to get there, right? Because if we have 80% of the males knowing who the enemy is, then that infectious thing, you know, it spreads to everybody, so everybody knows that. But as long as there's half or less than half, and you have the media and the little hats will make whatever side is actually the minority, they will use the media and all that to make it look like there's more voices, like they do with abortion. They got a fucking crew of activist protesters that go on abortion tours, and it's the same fucking ones. So you see them all over the place. You think everybody wants abortion? No, that's not the case. You know, and I've said it before, even girls that have had abortions, you know, if the choice wasn't there, you know, choice wouldn't have been there. You live more responsibly. It's just, as long as there's not that net to catch your irresponsible behavior, you know. And what they want is people having sex to not have kids, because that just deteriorates the collective spirit of the society. Like I think everybody knows what I'm talking about. What everybody does affects the herd. But abortion is murder, and you know, anybody can look this up. Abortion was the whole creation of abortion was Jews. It was the little hats. The little hats created it to kill off everybody who wasn't like them, and that's why they got Planned Parenthood. You know, that's what it's for, and the prongs of evil are just unbelievable that those people have created. You know, like I was saying, they are the only reason why black people hate white people. You know, it's a constant reminder of slavery, and then the a lot of fake police brutality. When you look at the numbers, more white people get killed by cops than black. But when you look at the news, they won't even talk about the white. So there's an agenda. And another thing you never see on the news is black on white crime. It's okay. We don't need to report that. That's not happening. Nothing to see here. I think I was saying about England. Yeah, England's fucked up, dude. Because England is small, and it didn't take much to migrate that place to just mayhem. Because I mean, just look at the map, dude. England's small. There's nowhere to get. There's not really too many, you know, isolated places. Everybody's in a fucking metropolitan city. It's just crazy. They're raping white women, killing white people, and everybody fucking tells me I'm an Islam. So what do you call it? Like a Muslim, or enabler or whatever. Yeah. Dude, I realize what they do. I don't like the fact that a certain group of people brought them all here to do this to us. But when they're hitched, it's kind of too late. Now that they're here, might as well go after the people who brought them here. And nobody wants to talk about it. I say that on X a lot too. I think it gets me a lot of followers, I think. There's certain things that you can bring up. Like today, these little hats we're arguing about something. It's like they think they're saying something. And I pulled out the USS Liberty, and the bitch bailed out. She was like, okay, fine, you can just go along with your hate and all that. And if you look at her profile, she said she was fighting anti-Semitism. Well, she didn't want to fight it anymore. When you pull out, because see, there's certain things that have happened that are extremely significant that you can't be talked past and ignored, and that's one of them. And the facts about that, and then today somebody, and it was a little hat, was talking crap about what I said about the USS Liberty, and they said that you need to read something that somebody had wrote about it. And I went off, man, because oh shit, this is snake area. Because I know the story. I've heard the people on the ship tell the story, and that's who I'm gonna believe. And they were gonna sink that ship, and the only reason they didn't was because the Mayday signal went out. So if they would have done it, they were going to do it and blame Egypt so they could start a war. That would have changed a lot of shit too. But that Mayday signal going out, they had to stop. See, that was the thing. Like, they want the way they treated them. They treated them like they were prisoners, like they were fucking the enemy. After when they rescued them, they didn't want to rescue them. They wanted to fucking finish them off. There's radio communications from them talking about it. Yeah. But then the Mayday went out, and so they had to save them. But they weren't nice about it. Then a lot of people. Oh, god damn this bug. God damn it. Dude, that was in 67, so these motherfuckers have never been our allies. So it's not just that group then, or... See, I gotta start looking for the bears, man. I heard something. Fuck, I heard something. thought I heard a grumble. I think this fucking bear hangs out right here. This is his fucking, like his living room. God damn it. These fucking bugs. I mean, fuck, every time I've been here I've seen them. Damn, dude. Fucking bugs. I want to go down to my spot. It was much nicer when people came up here. You always see people here, you don't have to worry about it. The bear getting all territorial. I still feel funny about going that way. And there's my rope. Go that way. I gotta just stop doing it. Now the last 3 times I've been here and I fucking ran into that bear. I wasn't here but 5 minutes before he showed up and fucking ran me off. And if he was here, I'm sure that's exactly what he's going to do again. And I think it's like, I feel like his, it's this area right here, I feel like is his. See, it's like going that way. It makes me feel weird. And that's where I hang out all the time. I'm not feeling. There's my pool. I see that whenever I go down here, he shows up and he comes around that corner and I have no idea that he's there until he is. Now, I'm going to go here. I'm going to go down there. Oh, dude, these bugs are just fucking. Oh. I'm gonna turn this off. Fuck. This is just like last time. I fucking Sat right here. Bugs were all over me. I started to fucking change my shirt, and boom, the fucking bear shows up. So I'm gonna turn this off and see if that happens again. If it does, I'll just pop this thing back on. Peace.